Alright. We're almost ready to go. Had a good night's sleep. Real good breakfast here. Had plenty of coffee. Got myself my to-go cup today. Getting all geared up to try and get a jump on things before the tour bus here heads out. But yeah, we're all loaded up. We're ready to set off. Let's see, 3/4 of a tank. I should probably go and top it off before heading out. Alright, yeah, here we go. Alright, we are all gassed up. Took 2 gallons. Looks like everybody's still asleep right now. Town is quiet. Yellowstone National Park, take a left. I don't know that I have ever gone in through the park this way. Green light. Maybe this is where I came through the first time. Looks kind of familiar. Anyway, let's see how this goes. Okay, piece of cake. Yeah, this is where I came in. I was riding that Ducati. First national park of the trip. Day 3. Right on. The sun's just kind of getting to the point where it's wanting to burn through the clouds. It's still brisk out in the 40s, but we're making the most of it. I got my coffee and feeling warm with all this gear on. Anyway, yeah. That's Celestine Pool out there bubbling away. I wonder what that water feels like. Interior area mat. The red spouter, according to this sign here. That was Jelly Geyser that was right over my shoulder. You can hear a lot of water moving, but the steam's so thick you can't see anything. So when I was walking up around the bend back there, there's a seemingly never-ending line of cars coming this way, so hopefully the park doesn't get too busy before I can go check out Old Faithful. Okay. So that was pretty cool. We will go proceed to the next little lookout. Got sprinkled on a little bit. Bike's a little wet now. Should have got some speed shine out. Wipe the bugs off. It's weird for me. I have like a feeling that I gotta keep moving when I'm on these trips. But the whole idea of staying so close to the park and all that is just so I can get out and walk around and look at stuff. See a little bit over here. park is definitely filling in. Well, that was cool. Probably be a lot easier to see things when it warms up a little bit later today and it's not quite as steamy. Felt really nice and warm while I was walking around. Almost got a little bit of sweat going when I went around that because I'm so bundled up, but get going again, it's just barely 50 degrees out. That Old Faithful over there. Yeah, this side of the park there's all kinds of geysers and geological things. Fairy Falls. Yeah. Oh, they're big old buffalo right by the road there. Creek. Maybe. Let's see. Old Faithful Inn, registration, parking. That must be it right there. You know, generally speaking, I don't ever take a spot for a four-wheeler, but we'll make an exception today. So, a nice couple overheard me talking to somebody and said it should blow off at about 10:30, so that's about an hour from now. And I'll go walking around. Looking at all the other geysers and stuff. Lots of cool things around here. So that is it. Right there, Old Faithful. And lots of other formations and cool stuff. it's about 9:45. It is estimated we're going to have about another half hour till Old Faithful goes off, so the observation point is back that way. We're going to go head there, see what time it is, and then maybe take a break. Well, I decided that I didn't want to keep walking down this part of the trail, and I came down, get going again. There's that big fucker. Holy shit. I hide back here behind the tree. Yikes. Alright, well, sun is coming out. It is getting warm, and I am considerably overdressed with all that riding gear on, so took it off to continue on. So much interesting stuff out here. That big old bull right behind me. It is 10:10. It is estimated it's going to blow off at 10:30. So we're going to go head over and wait for it. Looks like all those other folks are thinking the same thing. Yeah, checking out the Old Faithful was pretty cool. I'm glad I stuck around for it. I'm gonna go up to the lodge and see if there's any little trinkets or a national park pin I could go pick up, and I'm going to continue through the park and see what else is out there. The lapel pins were kind of lame, but I got the walking stick pin. So we're gonna hit the bathroom and then hit the road. Old Faithful was pretty cool. Heading around towards West Thumb. Sun came out, warmed it up. 63 degrees. It's a big ass lake. It's like practically looking across the Puget Sound in Tacoma. I just pulled off back there in the nice little town of Gray Bowl. Strip off a layer. Strip off a layer and look at the map. This is Highway 14. The one I thought I was going to take was 16, and that's down a ways further. But both of these are highlighted yellow. The one down there, 16, was like the featured ride for Wyoming, so I would have had to backtrack a little bit. It's already 4 o'clock, so we're gonna stay on this and see how it plays out here. I know that down towards the end of this, where it links up with, I think it links up with I-90 again, there's a bunch of hotels and places to stay up there. So just that quick, my ride was over, but the trip was a long way from being finished. I stood on the side of the road for about 10 minutes, kind of trying to gather my bearings. The bike was
so far wedged down into the ditch that you couldn't even see it from the road, and I couldn't even try to pick it up because of how banged up I could tell I already was. A nice retired couple pulled up after a little while. Couldn't even see the bike from the road. Didn't know why I was standing there on the side of the road with all my gear on. Told them that I crashed and I was pretty banged up. I didn't have any cell service. Needed a ride back into Graybull. It was about an hour away. So they're nice enough to load me up. You know, I got into the truck just fine, rode in there. But an hour later, getting into town, all the shock and adrenaline had worn off, and I was in pretty serious pain at that point. So I got checked into the ER, took some x-rays. I had broken clavicle. I had 5 broken ribs. 3 of them were broken in my back, and 1 of them pushed through my lung. And so I was leaking air into my chest cavity, and broke a little bone in my left wrist, little bone in my right knee, and had a small road rash kind of on my back a little bit where my jacket came up, but I had all that gear on, so leather jacket, boots, riding jeans, you know, all that worked really good and kept me you know, from getting even more damage than I probably would have. My injuries were bad enough for this little hospital with the punctured lung that they couldn't take care of me there and needed to transport me to Billings, Montana. It took a couple hours for the ambulance to show up there. And while I was waiting, a Wyoming state trooper came into the hospital because somebody, I guess, called when they saw the bike on the side of the road or something. And he asked me a few questions, went to the motorcycle where the tow company came and picked it up, and then came right back to the hospital after that before the ambulance got there, and he decided that I was going too fast for conditions and wrote me a ticket. But I ended up lawyering up for that and got it dismissed. Anyway, so ambulance finally got there. It was about a 3-hour or so ride to Billings, Montana. Get to Billings, and they did the full emergency, you know, treatment on me, and it was probably about 3 o'clock in the morning before I was even into a hospital bed where I could get a little bit of sleep. But my breathing was so shallow that all the alarms were going off, kept waking me up, and wasn't until the next day where they decided that my lung kind of sealed itself off and didn't have to have an emergency surgery, or for my collarbone. So I finally talked them into releasing me 2 nights later, and I got an Uber to the airport, rented a car, and I had to drive back down to Graybull where my bike was because the tow company wouldn't release it over to the insurance without me coming to get all of my stuff, which I guess is understandable. So I drove back down there, picked up all my stuff, you know, said one last goodbye to my bike, and loaded all up and made the drive back to Tacoma, Washington. It took me about 2 days to make it back. I didn't want to push it too hard. You know, I did about 8 hours a day driving a little Toyota, you know, small SUV thing. Not really the most comfortable car to be driving in with a bunch of broken ribs, but I made it back home. And then, yeah, after I got back, I got surgery in my collarbone to get everything screwed back together, and I ripped tendons, and so they put all the tendons back together, and so it's Christmas, and I'm about 12 weeks out of surgery. Yeah, it's healing up pretty good. I'm hoping in another couple of weeks I can head back to work, but that was this summer's motorcycle trip. Real bummer, real unfortunate end to that whole thing, but yeah, it wasn't as bad as it could have been. You know, ultimately I walked away from it and drove myself back home. So stay tuned for another time, and we'll keep on motorcycle traveling. See ya.